What's poppin'? So your girl can rant, communicate, conversate, whatever that's going. And today, I came on here to tell y'all a story about what happened to me yesterday. Okay, first off, if you see this, it's just a bleach stain. I use this shirt for like when I do like hard work and stuff, like when I'm going outside and cutting down trees and stuff like that. So that's why I had this on. And if you see me scratching, it's because I'm so pissed because I took bug spray and I sprayed myself, but I didn't spray my back. And tell me why these goddamn mosquitoes bit me in my ass. Sorry, but dead ass. It bit me in my ass. Not once, not twice, but 3 fucking times. Like, damn, I know my ass is big and all. Like, I know it's, you know what I'm saying? I know it's there, but that don't mean bite me in my fucking ass. Anyway, now back to the topic at hand. Oh, my booty. And this is not how I want to be feeling. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. Like I was saying, okay, it looks like this because I wanted it to do the shit. I wanted to do that sunset back there. Y'all see that? Beautiful. But at this point, we gonna be a motherfucker and turn around and see how we get the lighting. Ooh, perfection. Way better than the beginning. Sometimes you gotta switch shit up, okay? During the whole thing, sometimes you gotta switch shit up. Like I said, mind your business. Anyway, like I was saying, so yesterday I had to go to my sister's house to do some stuff for this temp job that I want to start doing so I could get me some moolah, okay? And I was on the bus, right? And I'm on the bus, right? And I get on the train. That was the first thing I get on. Tell me why I see this man that I remember. I used to work with him at my at this job that I worked at, the science museum I used to work at, doing custodial. We both was custodians. And I'm just like, what the fuck? I'm like, dude, I can't believe you quit and didn't even say nothing. And he was like, I didn't quit, I got fired, and motherfuckers was firing me and somebody else because I was being lazy on the job. First off, that person almost crashed. Second of all, that was the second time that person came around here. I'm going to ignore it until he comes around the third, fourth time, okay? Because what the fuck is you coming around in this circle for multiple times? Anyway, yeah, I was like, damn, what the fuck? So I seen that person. And then I get on the bus to go to like I said, I get on the train and a bus to go to my sister's house. And then I get on the bus and I'm sitting there on the bus, and I'm just like, oh, I'm in the front. Like I get in the second door and I get on the second door of the bus because it's a free bus. So I get on the back, not the back, but the second door that's there. And I look at the front and there's a spot there at the front, but there's people there. So I was just like, all right, I'm gonna stand right here for a minute. And then when the bus stops, or when it comes to the next stop, then I'll sit there, The person gets up and they leave at the spot that I was gonna go. But then the people that was right next to me got up and got off the bus. And I was like, oh shit, fuck it. I'll just take these 2 seats and then instead of sitting over there where, the people that be handicapped usually sit at. So as I turn and I look as I turn my body towards the back to turn into the seat, tell me why. Tell me why I came face to face with a motherfucker I used to talk to. I was just sitting there, I looked at him, and I slid right into the seat. I looked at that nigga and slid right into the seat. Cause hell no. Okay, y'all, first off, I don't have no motherfucking, you get it. That's why we keep tipping. But I slid right into the seat. I don't care. I'm gonna pick you back up. I slid right into the seat. Right into the motherfucking seat. I was like, oh, I wasn't even like, oh, I was just like, was just sitting there, I'm like, what the fuck, God? Face to face. Face to motherfucking face. Nobody was in between us, no nothing. Face to face. And I was just like, because you thought I was going to talk to you. You thought I was going to say something. You thought I was going to smile at you. You thought I was going to, nigga, you tried to play me. Fuck, nigga. Okay? And this was years back. Like, I want to say he was 18, finna turn 19, and I was 20. And I was 20, finna turn 21. And we haven't talked since then. After that whole thing, we haven't talked since then. Bitch, I am 24. So about 3 years has passed since I seen that dude. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm just like, God, what the fuck you got going on up there to the point that I'm over here coming and pass with this nigga? Like, please make it make sense. But yeah, that shit happened, and I'm just like, okay, whatever. I was like, okay, cool, whatever, Is that a spider web? A spider? I ain't mean to do that shit. If that was, just don't bite my ass. Anyway. All right. And he gets off the bus. Like, it literally was like, it was like, it was like he was getting up. I don't know where he came from, but he was walking, and I was here, and I turned, basically. So I turned, it was a boom. And I slid right on in that seat, and he walked right on out that motherfucking bus. I was just like, wow, that really happened. And he walked so fucking fast because he's tall. I think he was like 6'1" or something, 6 foot. He's tall, and he was walking fast, and we had passed him, but then we had got at a stoplight. Tell me why at the corner of my eye, I see that motherfucker looking at me in my direction. Ooh, y'all, I need to be careful because I was doing some yard work today, and I also had washed I had washed 2 towels on my hand. I got a blister. And here too. It's hard being over here, man. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Because, long story short, our washer is not working right now, so I had to wash my goddamn towels on my hands. Anyway, back to what I was saying. That happened, and then I seen a man that gets on the bus, and he has a dog. Here, I'll show you. A dog just like that. Just like that. He just moving and everything. That dog just holding on for dear life. And I'm just like, does he got like a harness or something on that dog? Fuck no. He don't got no harness on that dog that's latching him onto there. The dog is just literally on his shoulder. And it was a small dog, but it was literally on his shoulder like a damn cat. And I'm just like, what the fuck? And I was sitting there looking at him, and I was smiling because that dog was really fucking cute. And he was looking at me, and he seen that I was smiling at his dog. And he said something. I think he said he's cute, huh? I was like, yeah, he is cute. And I asked him, how did the dog do that? And he was like, he didn't know either. He was just like, one day, the dog was walking. One day we were walking, and the dog got tired, and I was bent down to grab him, and he don't like me holding him like that, but I bent down to grab him, and he came right on up and perched, and ever since then, that's how he do when he gets tired of walking. I was like, all right, cool, bet. And then he started telling me about his whole... Damn, even a tap be motherfucking... Anyway, he was over there telling me about he started to tell me about his whole fucking life. And I mean his whole life. Not his whole life, but his whole situation about how is he... Because he was saying something to me, and I was just like, man, you're really strong. And he was like, yeah, I am strong. I've been through a lot. And, I was just there, and he started telling me about his life and how he had a best friend. No, he had a significant other that drunk himself to death, and it was a toxic situation, and he literally drunk himself to death. Him and his dog found him in the room, gone. That was one thing. Another thing was he was a male, but he was also a gay male, but he was also a cross-dresser. So, and when people are like that, people be trying to judge and talk shit and be like, oh, you F this, F-A-G this, F-A-G that, trying to be some raggedy ass bitches. And he was just like, yeah, and all this and that. And then he started telling me about him and his best friend, and how him and his best friend was like, he thought this was gonna be his end all be all. Like they thought they was gonna be lovers and married and all that Bro, there's a dancing bug on my damn shoe. I don't know if y'all can see that shit. Look at that motherfucker dancing. Look at him. Can you see that shit? Can you see that shit just swaying side to side? Get it. Ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh. Side, ooh, 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 ooh. I'm sorry. I was so what just it just came out of my shoe. I'm just like, where the fuck did you come from? Anyway, I'm all over the place right now, but dead ass, back to what I was saying. Cause I don't got that much storage, so I don't know when this is gonna die. Listen, if I have to do a part two, I'll do a part two. But basically he was telling me that he had a rough life, and he was a cross dresser, and how people was treating him as a cross dresser, and how he had a significant other that he passed away from drinking so much, and then he had found him in the home, and then he was telling me about his best friend to where he was going to be his end all be all, but when he found his best friend, he literally just got out of that relationship with the motherfucker that died, and that he wasn't looking for nobody right now, so they became friends, but then they also became friends with benefits, but then they also became best friends, and then it got to a point where motherfuckers was just entangling and all this, and they were still talking to people on the side and just said the third, but it got to the point where he started to, the thing was, when they first met him and the best friend had some type of sickness to where he had a dog. The dude, I'm gonna call him Jay, okay? And the best friend was an S. Jay had a dog, and Jay gave the dog to S, and S didn't even know he was sick, but the dog sniffed it out. If you know dogs can sniff out people when they're sick, okay? And Jay was like, oh, Jay basically helped him hit the Jay and the dog helped him back to basically nursed him back to health. But then he got it again, and then nursed him back to health and got it again, and he got it now still. So basically, it was just a right. I don't know how to explain it, but that happened, okay? And Jay was by S's side the whole time, being best friends, and getting him stuff, and being a support person and all that jazz, and then get a little cookie on the side. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what they was doing. And it got to the point where 3 years has passed, because they became roommates. They became roommates, and they were roommates for a while, and they was always by each other all the time, and they was always with each other. But then it got to a point where God had broke them apart, and they didn't I don't know if he understood why he got broken apart, but God broke them apart for a little bit, and to where things started to fall apart, and the Jay started to realize that S didn't like him as much as he used to in the beginning. And it got to a point where Jay was over here telling me like, yeah, because S is autistic, and Jay was like, yeah, he's autistic, and I understand that, and he was telling me how there was a point where he got sick. Something happened to S to where he got sick real bad, and he was up in a fetal position, and Jay had went over there and slept with him, or stayed with him, and literally they was on the floor, and he fell asleep for an hour, and he woke up, and then he had to leave. This was a time of during Pride or whatever, and he had to leave, and the next day, Jay had got sick, like a stomach flu, and he was throwing up acid for like 2 days. And then Wednesday, S calls Jay, talk about, oh, I need you, but Jay was just sick, and I guess S felt some type of way. Right, S felt some type of way, and then it got to the point where they were clashing somehow, because he didn't he didn't go help him after 1 hour. Like, it was crazy. And I think this was a time. No, I'm sorry. What happened was that happened, but then it got to the point where he had to go to work, and he couldn't be with the dude. So it was just so much going on. And then all of a sudden, S started to have a friend, a transgender woman that came, and came here, and the thing was, it was a funeral that she had to come to, and then shit happened to where basically Jay was just watching S basically not love him anymore, fall out of love with him, and then start replacing him with the girl. Let's call her K, okay? He started replacing her. Excuse me. He started replacing Jay with K, but S didn't realize that he was replacing J with K, and he was like, we're all friends, and I was just sitting there thinking like, you took, and I was just jeez, I was just sitting there thinking like, you keep saying we're all friends, but that's the thing. You and J, S and J are not friends. S and J are best friends, and not only that, the way he was telling me, I was just like, this is some tea. In my head, I'm like, shit, this is crazy, but this is some tea. And I'm just like, I'm just listening. And it got to the point where we got off the bus at the same bus stop, and he was talking to me, and he walked me to the area that I was going, because he literally lived around the block. So, which is a coincidence, he lived around the block where my sister lived at, which was crazy. But yeah, and we were talking and everything, and he was telling me, he's an introvert. I mean, not introvert. He's an empath, so he know energy and all that. And he realized that S was trading him out for K, and K is a younger girl. He said K was 25 or whatever, and J is literally 34. And how it is crazy how S is going for a younger person now. And not only that, he come to find out K is also autistic like S. And not only that, they come to find out they met on a dating app, and they was sending pics back and forth. And just like how J and K met, just like how J and S met, K and S met. And S was doing the same shit that he did to J, that he was doing that to the same shit that he did to J, he's doing to K. And it was getting closer and closer and closer. And J was just there, third wheeling. And he was just sitting there like, what did I do to make you do this to me? What did I do to, basically have you go from being my best friend, being the person that we like this, to where I'm over here, you over here like this with another bitch? Like, make it make sense. And I'm just like, what? I'm just sitting here and I'm just like, whoa, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that shit happened. And he was telling me all this, and I'm just like, it sounds like S doesn't realize that he loves K. And Jay was sitting there, he was like, I was like, oh my God. I said that out loud, but I wasn't thinking. And Jay started to cry. And I was just like, oh, love. I was just like, love. Oh my gosh. We was basically having a therapy session right then and there. And he's been in therapy, and Jay is in therapy, and he was going through therapy through all this whole situation, and he got stronger, during therapy, and he was realizing more shit. But he was having a whole nother therapy session with me, and I was just sitting there like, oh my God, like I didn't mean to make him cry, I was just saying it out loud, and I was just like, I'm gonna just be quiet and listen, because I don't want him to, I don't want it to get emotional like this, because I don't know this man. At the end of the day, this man is a stranger, and I get it. I am a person that is supposed to help people heal and think about stuff and all this jazz, but this is something that he shouldn't be doing out in the open. He needs to go home and actually think about this stuff. But I know that God is basically bringing us together for us to talk about this stuff. And we was going back and forth, and telling each other about all these things, and I'm just like, okay. And I was just like, I need to figure out a way how to maneuver this. And then I would just let him talk, and I kept letting him talk, and he was telling me more and more, and how about how S was hiding some, or just S wasn't saying the full truth. He was just holding stuff back. And not only that, come to find out, S was over here getting scammed on the dating app from somebody talking about, oh, you were talking to a minor and this and the third and blah, blah, blah. But nobody told S that the person that they were talking to was a minor. The person that S was talking to never told S their age. And S is autistic, so he doesn't understand. But at the same time, he knows what he's doing. It's just, it doesn't really click. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't really click, because I have an autistic nephew, so they know what they're doing, but at the same time, basically they're smart, but there's times where it's just like, what's going on? It doesn't really click like that. So he was getting scammed, and he didn't want to say nothing, and he turned off the dating app. And Jay find out later that was what was going on. in the background with S, and how he was slowly getting away from Jay because he was going through a whole bunch of shit in his life, and he wasn't telling Jay this, and they were supposed to be best friends. And then K came along, and then K came along, and S started to get close with K because, you know, they're autistic and this and the third. And it got to a point where S was over here doing some things to basically doing things differently, and Jay was just sitting back and watching like, what are you doing? Because Jay and S had 5 dogs. Jay had 3, if I remember correct, and S had 2. The 2 that Jay gave him, and they were a family. They would always go for walks and everything, and he was just showing me the memories and everything, and Jay was getting emotional again because going through the memories and stuff like that. And Jay had told me, like, you know, yeah, I'm not I basically took a step back because he literally told